Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. For today, what can I say? We're starting up the week with an incredible, super badass guest. We have Corey. Corey, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing, Dan?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, what better way to start up an incredible super week than to be chatting with someone as epic, badass, legendary, super awesome person as you? You know what I mean?
You should be my permanent hype man. Just like enter me into every room and be like, incredible, bad, all of it.
Sounds like a plan. I tell you what, I will even bring some, I don't know, some confetti, some fireworks, even though, so we can just throwing randomly.
Yeah.
Why not? Should be interesting, At least people will be like, oh, who is she? You know what I mean?
So we will. An entourage. Even just one guy, but
let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for being here on the show. And let's get started. Now, before we start, I do want to thank those who are tuning in. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to, leave a like, subscribe, follow, helps a lot. But also on the description below, you're gonna find all of course social media. Let's follow her and let's discover why she's super badass. Now, without further more, let's jump in. So I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, what initially drew you to acting in the first place? Was there a specific moment or performance that solidified your passion for it?
I don't think there was like a specific thing. So I grew up dancing. I was a competitive dancer my whole life. So I've always been on stage and I've always been entertaining people. I did a lot of like musical theater when I was younger, and actually, when I was little, I was in a community play of Peter Pan, and I played, what's the little boy? Michael Darling, like the little tiny boy. I played him. So that was like my big break into showbiz when I was probably like 4 or 5. And so I just really loved it. I really liked entertaining people. I really liked making people laugh and forget about their mundane day-to-day life of going to work and doing that. Like, I think that film and entertainment is such like an escapism for people. I do remember when I was younger watching Titanic, and I was obsessed with Kate Winslet, and I would watch her, and it was like back in the day when they had two VHSs, and you'd put like the first one in, and it's like the love story, and then you put the second one in and the ship sinks. I'd always just put the second VHS in, and just like, I love the like excitement of the ship sinking. And so I was like, I think like that maybe was the spark for me.
That's badass, just saying.
Yet another reason that I'm badass.
There you go. We're starting up strong here. I love it. I love it. And that is and that is awesome that actually Titanic was was one of those films that kind of inspire you too,
Yeah. It's such like an iconic film, and I loved it. I loved Kate Winslet. I thought she was like the most badass chick I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's definitely on top of the films you need to watch. The other day I was having this conversation with a coworker that we were creating our own list of films that you need to watch, that they are 100% most watched, and of course Titanic was on the list. I was like, we need to put that film because it's basically an iconic one. And it was one of the most, it's one of the most incredible films ever made in history. So
100%. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, it was. I remember when I watched it. I watched it. Yeah, when I was a kid, and I mean, I don't know why they put that, but I was on a bus on the I was on a bus to go to an island, and the bus driver put that film, and then everyone was watching. I was with my family, right, and then we went to the place to take the boats to go to the island, and I was super scared because in my mind I was like, if that huge thing got sink, what can I expect on this little boat? So yeah. But
that's so mean. It's like playing like a movie about like a plane crash on a plane. Like, that's so mean. The bus driver's life.
Absolutely. But yeah, anyway, moving on here. That's incredible. So we're starting up strong while you're super badass. I love it. And tell me, as an actor, you often, have to inhabit the lives of various characters. So how do you approach stepping into a new role? And what techniques do you use to make the character feel authentic?
I think that like my approach is different to every character because it's dependent obviously on the character and who they are. I really look for like similarities and differences between me and that character. Uh, and I kind of hone in on like what's similar about Corey and this character that I can bring from my life. Um, and what's different. So do they move different? Do they like have an accent? And like that's kind of the bare bones about like how I approach each character, like how different they are, if they have like ticks, and I kind of just build and build. Like the more I play around with it, like I'm a big fan of like rehearsing and like playing with my character and like just trying to everything. You really have to like just leave your ego at the door when you're developing a new character. You can't judge yourself, you can't judge the character. And just like play around and find like if they have a certain tick, maybe like how they walk, and their accent, just be really bad at the accent until you start being like okay. And then eventually you'll be really good. And yeah, I like researching things that I don't know, like if this character is from a certain part of the world I don't know, I research about like the history. And um that tells me a lot about how they grew up. um and sometimes, if the character is so different than me, then I'll do animal work, if you're familiar with animal work. So it
Okay.
sounds weird. So if the character calls for it, which I mean, a lot of the stuff that films in Vancouver here are just very kind of pedestrian. It's very characters that are similar to Corey. But if they are different and they're interesting, then sometimes I'll think like, ooh, this character really reminds me of like, let's say a wolf. And so I'll kind of move around like a wolf. And how would this person inhabit, how would the wolf walk if they were upright and standing? And how would they carry themselves so that all my characters don't look like me? I sit differently as different characters. If they're a peacock, I might like sit up like really straight and like, be a bit more like different. Or if they're like a bear, I might be a bit heavier in my body language. That way all the characters don't look like me.
I like it. Yeah, okay. I see that happening.
It's a bit out there, but I mean, I like trying lots of different stuff. So I will try anything once, and if it works for me, then I'll keep it. If not, then I'll toss it.
Totally. And that, I mean, and that is the way here. I mean, to be able to learn to apply new techniques that could help you into your, I mean, later on in your career. I mean, at the end, you wanted to make the character as relatable as possible, right? And I find that amazing when when an actor managed to get, I mean, you can totally sense it. There's something about it that when you see the actor taking, like going in actually to be the character, I mean, and to be able to create that connection with the audience, I mean, I think that's amazing, basically.
Totally. And I feel like if you hold back from playing the truth of the character, then you're doing a disservice to everyone watching and you're doing a disservice to the script. And I just think that you have to just go all in. And yeah.
I like it. And tell me, like, has it ever happened to you that during this process of, of character creation, you got a role that was totally opposite from you? So how you were able to, yeah, to portray that?
Yeah. I mean, so, okay. So I've had a lot of characters that were very opposite of me, but I'll go with the most recent one, which was a movie that I just did. And this movie, her name was Trish, and she's this like smoking, chewing, like Southern kind of like girl. Um, and I've never like I am the biggest square. Like I've never really smoked in my life, so I had to like suddenly go to like chain smoking on set. Chain smoking. We used herbal cigarettes, obviously. See my one up. And and so I had to now, it was just like it was a few weeks of preparation of me smoking herbal cigarettes and just getting the movement of like how to hold a cigarette. I didn't know. And then also I wanted to this was all like my own kind of things that I wanted to um imbue with the character. It wasn't in the script, but I wanted her to have like a wad of chew in her lip so that she would just spit. She'd say a line and then she'd like spit and she just wouldn't give a fuck about anything. And she'd be like swearing at people, and that's not how I act in my normal life. So it was weeks of preparation of like chewing, and I would just like be driving in my Jeep, and I just like whenever I was at a red light, I would just like spit out the window to just try to like learn how to spit. Um, and So yeah, it was just very it's very fun for me. Like the different I'm sure you've heard this a million times, the more different a character is from you, the more fun you have.
Mm.
Uh just because it's so detached from Corey and but it's a lot of fun. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I would say that it's kind of therapeutic somehow, you know, the fact that you can get the chance to put the real you aside for a bit and be somebody totally different as you. So
100%. Yeah, totally.
that is awesome. And tell me, like during, you know, like those performances and everything, as soon as the whole, yeah, as soon as the whole project is over, how you break character, you know, how you return to be the real you, let's say.
That's a good question. And I don't have like a quick kind of like thing I do at the end. It's been like months and years of me really being like self-aware and like in touch with myself. So I do a lot of journaling. I journal every day. And that's something that really grounds me and makes me feel connected to Corey. And like I call it like coming back home to myself and like uh being in touch with how I'm feeling as like separate from how the character is feeling, especially if it's a really intense uh emotional journey that you're doing with a character. It's very important that you kind of drop the work and leave it there. um yeah, it's been a build of like, yeah, just getting more and more in touch with Corey and coming back home to her and having that connection with yourself is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. And you know, many actors have rituals or routines, right, to getting to
Yeah,
the into scene, let's say. So,
yeah.
what's yours? Do you have like any pre-show ritual that helps you to get into the right mindset?
I mean, I will do like for sure I'll do similar to like what I prepare for a role, like doing things that they would do, like as I'm on my way to set, I'll be smoking or I'll be chewing or I'll be, incorporating like a nervous tick that I think they have, or I'll be talking in my accent. Sometimes when I'm in my trailer, specifically if it's a really emotional scene, I'll do like a relaxation exercise. If you've ever heard of something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where you
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sit in a chair and then I'll just move different parts of my body and see like where emotion is stuck or trapped, and then I'll express that emotion. And then I'll typically like if it's a really emotional scene, like let's say with like my dad where he's like in the hospital or something, I'll look at the actor and I'll try to pinpoint something on the actor that I can connect my dad to. So if he has like similar eyes to my
Yeah.
dad or like a similar hair, then I'll try to like latch onto that and really try to bring my own personal life into the work. And I know that's not for every actor, and I don't, say that that's like the be all end all kind of way to approach things, but that's something that works for me and that helps me drop in.
Yeah, and I mean, and at the end, it's great the fact that you're able um, to create your own thing to prepare you. I mean, that I think that at the same time, it is also great for new actors to be like, you know what, you don't have to follow in a specific way to. You know, at the end, you have to find. I mean, yeah, sure, you can take parts from people you admire or people you have met along the way, but at the end, has to be you because it's you who are playing. You know, it's you who are going to be on scene and who are going to play this specific role and so on, so on. So it's understandable for you to,
Yeah.
to get your own thing. You know, I mean, I have learned so many different ways too from from things from things that you do, for example, or things that I remember once an actor told me that that she will run a mile before, you know, so she will be all pumped up, ready to go. You know what I mean? So I was like, interesting. Or another one told me that that will eat a hamburger or something, something kind of greasy going on here to put the stomach. I don't so things like that, or things, for
Yeah.
example, that they will eat a bag of jelly beans before jumping in. You know what I mean?
My gosh, wow. I'm gonna try all of those things and tell you how it goes for me.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the most crazy things I've heard, and that was from an actor who told me that she saw another actor before jumping in, that they were actually throwing up. So
Oh,
then I was like, yeah, I mean, that is hardcore. And
that
then
is
and then yeah, and then she was telling me like, yeah, I mean, that is super crazy. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but I was like, I mean, at the end, it's it's their way to getting to see it. I don't know. So
sure, yeah. I mean, I do find that like if like somebody's an actor and they're wanting to find their own kind of like way to do things, it's really like years and years of trying out everything and just mishmashing everything that works for you and just
totally.
keeping that.
Totally. And that's the way here. I mean, at the end, as I was saying before, you need to create your own thing to so you can get ready to it because at the end it's you who are gonna portray this specific role, not not anybody else. So yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me, on the flip side, what's the most bizarre or unexpected thing that ever happened to you on or either on stage or on set?
The most bizarre, unexpected thing. Um, okay, so this wasn't on set, but it wasn't an audition. Does that count? Can I say okay? And it was like, I'll preference this. This is one of my very first auditions. Like when I first started out, I moved to Vancouver from my small little hometown. It's called Fruitvale, tiny. Um, and so, anyways, one of my first auditions is for this commercial for Zumba. Do you know what Zumba is? It's
I
a dance, kind of like.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so, anyways, they were doing a commercial for Zumba, and they wanted people to try out, uh, and you were supposed to like dance for 30 seconds or something. And I was like, well, I grew up as a dancer, so I can like obviously do this. And so I show up, and I don't know what happened. I think it was just a mix of things of my nerves and my adrenaline, but I started dancing, and I think I got maybe like 5 seconds in, Dan, and my kneecap like on the side of my leg, like just like dislocated. And it was in the middle of an audition. It was one of my first auditions. And so my kneecap is on the side of my leg. And the casting directors, bless them, they had to call the ambulance. It was this big thing. I like they came and got me and like wheeled me out. I had to like go past all the actors like waiting in the area. And so, anyways, I was taken to the hospital, and my kneecap was back put back in place, and that it was very. I mean, obviously traumatic at the time. I'd never been injured before, broken a bone, so that was like very funny to look back on now, but traumatic at the time.
I bet it was. Ugh. Oh,
Have you ever broken a bone or like dislocated your
yeah,
kneecap?
yeah.
Okay.
I broke my ankle back in high school. I was in the basketball team, and I was already. I mean, I was crushing it, and yeah, I was playing at the same time in a college team,
Mm.
and I was like this close to going into the college team. Have a
Oh wow.
scholarship, the whole thing over. But then on high school, it was my crush, right? I had this crush that I was so it was PT, and then I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna impress her. I'm gonna do something, something wild on it, so she can be like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is crazy, right? Anyway, so I
Yeah.
tried to do something crazy about it, and I ended up doing something crazy, and I ended up breaking my ankle due to that thing. On my
Oh,
head, I was like, I'm gonna just jump, and I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna just hoop it, and then I'm just gonna be, all excited about it. But then when I jumped, I something happened that I just fell the wrong way and my ankle just went like sideways.
oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and the bad thing, and the most fun the most fun part of it was that I was just in the ground laying, screaming out of pain, of course, and my crush just left.
Oh no. Oh.
You know what I mean? So after that point I was like, I'm never gonna do anything else to impress anybody. I'm done with it. So yeah.
Same. I had the same thoughts that day. I was like, I'm done.
So yeah, that was the only time that I actually broke something, and yeah. So
Yeah. Good
the things
times.
we do, right? The things we do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Truly.
was, But anyway, but right after that, I haven't broke anything, or just some minor injuries that happen in your daily
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? Or
Sure.
since I'm now in my 30s, for example, I play soccer with my coworkers once a week, and I know that if I don't warm up, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be basically, yeah, I'm gonna be into a lot of pain
Yeah.
the next day. So I need to actually warm up and do do all of that type of stuff that younger me wasn't doing at all. So
No.
things like
Once you
that.
hit your
So
30s, you're like, what is going on? I like hangovers are worse. You have to like working out is worse. Everything.
yeah, you need to actually pay attention on the things you eat. To be like, what am I eating now? What if like why do I need you need to pay extra attention on everything that you are eating and things like that. So
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it is, right? So,
It is. Yeah.
and yeah. So moving on here, tell me, like acting can be, emotionally demanding. So how do you maintain a balance between fully immersing yourself and taking care of your mental and emotional well-being?
This is a good question. I think that like what I was kind of talking about before, like um journaling is a big thing for me. I try to be very self-aware and constantly learning about myself um and what is serving me and what's not serving me. I try to do like a scan every once in a while to just kind of like take account into my life of like what's serving me, what's not serving me, what are my intentions moving forward, is this serving me? And then I just try to like release and like cut things out that aren't good for my mental health or good for me. Um yeah, I think meditating is something that I try to do. I'm not like as on it
Mm-hmm.
as I would like to be, but yeah, I try to meditate. It's very important to have a good sense of self, especially when you for a living play other people.
Have you tried this app called Headspace for meditating?
I haven't. I mean, I know they haven't. I think a Netflix thing or something. I kind of watched like a video or two because I was having
Mm.
trouble sleeping. But do you like it? Do you use it?
Yeah, I do use it, and yeah, it's great. I mean, basically, I'm giving free advertisement now, but anyway, but yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been using it now for a couple of years
And then
now, and it's great because like the
yeah.
whole thing to it is that they are. I mean, it's kind of it works on your schedule somehow. You know, you're able to be like, okay, so if I have like 5 minutes on my time or 10 minutes, the app can actually help you to get like a quick meditation routine, and after
Oh
that,
wow.
I mean, you start to get like the whole you started to make it into a habit, and it's great because it actually counts the days you've been on a row meditating over and over. So it's kind of fun whenever you're
Oh, I
like,
like
oh,
that.
so I'm on a 12-day, going in all day or things like that. And it also meditate has also things, for example, how to dwell with grief or how to dwell with depression or anxiety, things like that. And it also has some sleeping sessions, which they are great too. So yeah,
Yeah, that is a good thing for me to know about.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if Headspace wants to sponsor me at some point, just let me know. I'm just gonna tag
Yeah.
them. You know. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I found it on the wormhole of YouTube one day, and I was like, let's test it out. And it's actually, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There are days in which I don't meditate at all, but there are
Yeah.
some days in which I just go all in. So yeah,
Yeah. And that's another thing that I'm really kind of like trying to learn and be conscious of is just like forgiving myself. Like if I miss a day of meditating or if I miss a day of journaling, just forgive myself and just get back on track.
totally, totally. And that's and and like with meditating with Headspace, I've been able to kind of learn a little bit that perhaps some people think that meditating is you to be, for you to put your mind blank and not think about anything else or things like that. And with Headspace, when they are ba- teaching you the basics, they're telling you, like, for example, you are just sitting on a highway watching the cars pass going on. It's like your
Yeah.
whole emotions, like your whole day going on. You are just watching it, just you're kind of reflecting to it. So that was kind
Yeah.
of a thing that kind of hooked me, and I was like, you know what, that is interesting because my mind is always, wanted to do something, crazy, doing, thinking about things to do later or
Yeah.
ideas for things, and it's just a crazy thing. It's just a crazy thing going on. So for me to be absolutely blank, it's impossible. So for me to be able to work with my thoughts and ideas and to feel relaxed to it, I was like, I'm in. So
I need to try that. You've sold me on it, so we should give you
yeah,
a portion of
yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to Headspace sponsor me. Just saying.
that. You can send the
So,
bill to Corey, Corey
you know, you
underscore
can
it.
you can have a discount by putting my my
Yeah.
um if you put this link on it. um but then we'll see. I mean, I'm just looking for sponsors, but we'll just
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I'll take any deal at this point. um but yeah, it's great. And at the same time, I mean, it's good the part that you are able to put care on yourself. I do think that sometimes we just forget about it. We just go on with our daily lives on and on and on and on, and we forget that it's okay at some point to kind of, take a break for a little bit, to actually breathe on it, be
Oh,
present. Sometimes we just go all crazy, 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 and that even we are not even present at the moment. You know what I mean? So it's great to have those moments to kind of either journal as you do, or to meditate and do,
yeah,
yeah, to kind of reflect of the whole thing that is going on in your life. So
yeah, 100%.
totally. And tell me, if you could play any historical figure, fictional character, or let's go crazy, even an animal, why not?
Oh.
Who or what would it be and why?
Okay, so for a historical character, um, you might not know her name, but her name is Grace O'Malley. Have you ever heard of her? She's was like
Is she a
she was
is she a musician? No.
no, she was a pirate in Ireland. And if you look her up, she has this like bright, fiery red hair and like she's so badass and she was just like one of like the the most badass pirate of the sea. And she's just really cool. Every time I still because I went to Ireland and I kind of saw a statue on her and I was just like, oh, I didn't like know there's a female pirate, and she was one of the first female pirates and probably one of the most feared pirates. Um,
Okay.
and I just think she's so badass, and I would love to play her. Uh, her or I don't know why I thought of this, but Anastasia from
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the cartoon. I would love to play her if there's ever a live action of that movie. I would love to do that.
That is amazing because we have like the two opposites here.
I know.
That's awesome because it shows how what's the word here? How I just forgot it.
Just my
How
range.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that you are able to portray anything. I love
Yeah,
it.
my versatility. I can just do anything.
Yeah. So you're able to portray. I mean, you are able to portray the pirate to a princess, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
I
it.
can do it all. Whatever Hollywood needs.
Yeah, I love that. And tell me, like actors, often have to adapt to different genres and styles of performance. So, is there a particular genre or style you haven't explored yet, but you would love to try?
I would love to do more action, like an
Mm.
action fighting. Like I love, like do kickboxing, and I love. Um, I did a little bit more stunts in the last movie I just did, but I want to do like more of that. Like in this movie that I did, where we were at a pool, it was a bar scene, and I grabbed a pool stick and like hit someone over the head with it, and it's just so fun. Like I sound very like I'm gonna put myself in jail, but it's so much fun to just collaborate with other actors and work out this fight sequence where you're both like on the same page, and it's so much of like a dance and like connecting with the other actor and being like, you good, I'm good, we got each other, like everyone's safe, and just being like so just like on the same page, just like you get into a flow and like
Mhm.
the sequence is just like, yeah, there's so much fun. So I would love to do more action kind of stuff. That's something that I haven't explored a lot of.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I mean, who knows? Maybe at some point, you will even have your own action figure.
I mean, maybe a Grace O'Malley action
That would
pirate
be
kind of
cool.
movies in my yeah,
You know,
that would
I
be
mean,
that would be cool.
totally. I mean, if perhaps in the next Pirates of the Caribbean,
I mean, yeah, there we go.
let's go for it. I mean, let's go big. Let's go
Yeah.
all in. I love it. I have interviewed, some actors that they will focus either on stunt work, specifically like on stunt work, and they have told me like a lot of times that it's actually pretty fun, like the whole thing, that it's like a dance. I mean, you choreograph everything, you're good to go, but when you are performing it, and you see like the result to it, that it's amazing. That it's such a cool, fun experience. So
For sure. And you can do so much with like camera angles. You can cheat things and it's amazing what they can do.
that is epic, and it's even like more badass. I mean, I'm getting it more to understand. Like, oh, I get it. Why she's badass now.
Badassery. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And tell me, if you were stranded on a desert island and could
Uh,
only bring three movies to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be?
that's such a hard question. Okay, can I? I can't say the entire collection of The Office because I genuinely feel like if I brought the whole collection of The Office, all the seasons, I would be like happy on a stranded island. They would come to save me, and I'd be like, "I'm good. I'll stay here. Thank you."
Yeah. Okay.
But if I had to choose movies, okay, I'll do this probably. If I had to choose movies, um, I would say, have you ever seen the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Pedro Pascal and
Nicolas Cage.
Paige? Yeah, have you seen it?
Hmm.
It's so good, Dan. What did you think? I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those films in which I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? That I was like, at some point, I was like, what the hell am I watching? But then I was like, this is really good. And then at the end, I was just like, I like it. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
It has like a lot of emotions going on here and there, so, and
Yeah,
because I watch it with I watch it with two of my best friends. We were just laughing about it at the same time.
yeah. I had no idea what to expect, and I was kind of was like, okay, so Nicolas Cage is playing Nicolas Cage, and I was like, but it's so funny. Um, and Dinner for Schmucks. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
No, I haven't. I
it's with
haven't.
Steve Carell and Paul Rudd, and Steve Carell is just a genius to me. Um, and also to further prove my badassery, Charlie's Angels, the second one, the number.
With Demi Moore, right?
Yeah, with Demi Moore. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. That was another movie. Like growing up, I saw that and like I just wanted to do what they were doing. Like I just thought they were so cool, and I thought if you could do that as a job, I'm in. Like
Yeah. Like, have you ever thought what happened to those type of action films? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
those old school action film that basically that none of it makes sense at all, but it was just fun to watch. You know what I mean?
yeah, totally. Yeah, I know.
You
I
know?
need to.
That it was a great film to just watch, have some popcorn on it, disconnect your brain and enjoy the ride, explosions and everything going on.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much like noise. I mean, like I know the Guardians of the Galaxy, big superhero movies are like all the rage now, but like there was also something so simple about just like I don't know, back in the day, action movies were just a bit more story driven, I guess. Not saying that they aren't story driven now, but I don't know. There's just something different, I guess. There's not as much explosions or as much craziness,
Yeah.
visual
Yeah.
effects.
I do think that perhaps one film that got me hooked again into the whole. I mean, I love superhero films, but I was just like a little bit tired of it. At some point, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I need something new. But when they recently released Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen it. What did you think? Did you like it?
Oh, beautiful.
Was it
It
good?
was, yeah, it's fun. It's one of those films, as I said, that it just like the jokes were, yeah, like the jokes were on spot, everything. I mean, it's a superhero film. Has action on it, has comedy on it, has
Right.
everything. And I was like, this is and and that is also like, and there's like another thing here, the fact that Ryan Reynolds was on it, that he loves Deadpool, he loves his character to be able to bring Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, and you can tell like the whole chemistry going on and the actual effort to it. And when
Oh
they and when they put that on a film, at least to me, I get hooked. I'm like, okay, so so this is why, so this is like so this is why I spend my money to go to the cinema and to watch a film. This is actually worth it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, that one was good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I have to see it.
Yeah, like so back on track here. So those will be the films that you will be playing on a desert island for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take it. Sounds
I
fun.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. And if your life was turned into a movie, which actor would you want to play you and why?
Can I play me? Can I cast
Sure.
myself?
Yeah.
um, that's a good question. I mean, who would I want to play me? I love Florence Pugh. I think that she's incredible and everything she does is incredible. So I would cast her, even though she doesn't really look like me. But I would just cast give her.
That would be an interest. And what do you think that would be the title for that film?
What would be the title? Uh, I would say like contained chaos or something. I feel like my life is so chaotic at all times, and it doesn't look like that. Sometimes I just have to like make it seem like it's not chaotic.
I mean, I do think that everyone has their own chaos going on in their lives. You know what I mean?
Totally, and like I'm a bit chaotic, so I have to like contain it sometimes.
But that's epic. You know, that's like that is what makes you. That is what makes you. You. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Um, there was a time in which I was thinking like, oh, I just wanna live in peace,
Yeah.
and relax like the rest of my life, like all of those stuff. But then later on, I was like, you know what? Sure, but that's just not me. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I do think also that when you're able to understand yourself and to actually have like this relation with yourself and
Mm.
understand you basically, you kind of get used to things or start to take things different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Just like
I mean,
unapologetic for yourself.
yeah, I mean at the end, if our lives weren't chaotic, we wouldn't have a lot of fun stories to tell.
Totally. I wouldn't be sitting here telling you about my kneecap coming out of place.
There you go. Or my story when I wanted to impress my crush and I ended up breaking my ankle to it. So
Exactly. Chaos.
I love it. Um, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. And so you mentioned that The Office was one of your go-to shows, right? So
Yeah.
is there any other TV show or movie that you could watch over and over and over and over and over and over again?
Yeah, it's not a specific one, but some like one of my guilty pleasures is I don't know why. I don't know why, Dan. I love like true crime murder mystery documentaries. Like I am obsessed. I think I've seen every one on Netflix. There's just like I don't know. I just love murder mystery documentaries.
Hmm,
I know.
I'll
I don't
take
know what
it.
that says about me. I looked it up. I was like, why do people like murder mystery documentaries? And it's something about like they like the feeling of like justice. Like they like the whole mystery of like who
Mm,
done it, and then like watching the interview process, and then the ending being hopefully the person is imprisoned and there's justice, a sense of
yeah.
justice is served. And it also makes you really value your own life and like take nothing for granted. Um, but that's probably my guilty pleasure where like I just watch so many of them sometimes. That's like my downtime, like guilty
Mm.
pleasure show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. What would you say that it's your top five?
Top five like murder mystery documentaries?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, okay. Good question. There's one on Netflix. It's called Evil Genius. And it's this bizarre story about how this like woman and husband or boyfriend or whatever, they call a pizza guy to order a
Okay.
pizza. And so he goes to deliver a pizza and they kidnap him and strap a bomb to his chest and they give him like a list of this is a real life story. They give him like a to-do list or like a scavenger hunt kind of thing to like go rob a bank, take all the money, like drop off the money here in this thing and like all these like different things that he has to do before the bomb goes off. And anyways, he gets to the bank and robs the bank. Um, and then I think like the police end up like pulling him over and like they have him surrounded because the bank like alerted the police. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're all like pointing guns at him and being like, and he's like, I have a bomb strapped to me. I have a bomb strapped to me. And everyone's kind of like, uh, unsure. And he's this innocent guy that, like, an innocent pizza delivery guy that just got, trapped in this. And anyways, the bomb goes off, unfortunately, and he's killed. But it's just such a fascinating, like, story of these people who created this mastermind plan, and who actually handmade and built this bomb around him. The very, intellectual, intelligent people actually who developed this plan, this evil scheme, which is why it's called Evil Genius. But it's just such a fascinating documentary. It's one I'll never forget. Um, Five is a lot. That's not
Let's
very
go for
wide.
three. Let's go for three.
Okay, okay.
But before that, tell me, were those guys caught? Like, spoiler alert,
They were
but they
caught.
were.
Both of them
Oh,
were
okay,
caught.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thankfully. um, Oh man, there's so many. I really like there's so many. I mean, not necessarily like murder mystery documentaries, but there's like one about the guy who he was like a fertility doctor and he would just use his own, like he wasn't using other people. There was so he has like thousands of kids out there in the world, all of them related. It's insane. These are the things I watch. I don't know why, Dan. It's just it's my relaxation, kind of like, oh, my life isn't that bad after all.
You know, it's like, what are you gonna watch to relax? I'm just gonna watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Cool. And
Yeah.
you? I'm just gonna watch a guy who works in a, and who ended up having multiple thousand kids all over all over the place.
I'll just be like in bed, like, and then the sound will be like, he was stabbed 72 times. And I'm like,
There is this YouTuber that I used to watch a lot that he will be telling scary stories.
ooh,
And at first when I watch it, it really scared me. But then a friend of mine was telling me that he actually sleep with those tales. So I was like,
yes.
interesting. Am I gonna try it? So I did try it, and I sleep beautifully.
I know, I don't know why. And there must be a science behind it that I'm going to have to look up. But yeah,
I ended
I,
up sleeping super peacefully. And of course, when I woke up, I was like, like what is happening? Or be like, whatever.
yeah,
And a friend of mine tried that later. Another friend of mine, I told him exactly the same thing. Like, you know what? Try that. Might help. And
yeah,
actually help him as well. So I
it
was like,
helped.
what is going on here? I'm seeing a
Yeah,
pattern going on. So
I don't know what it is, but I mean, here I am.
interesting. I love it. I love it. And tell me, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, here's the thing. Zero
Yeah.
experience. So based on what you know, what do you think that it would be a good place for me to start?
I I would say just like train as much as you can, kind of like what we were talking before. Get as many different training as with like train with as many people as you can, a bunch of different styles. Um, take everything that resonates with you and leave everything that doesn't. Like, uh, and it's just like really there's a lot of noise that is in this industry, and a lot of people telling you about how you should act or how you should brand yourself, and really it comes down to like your own instinct, and that's always what's served me, like listening to myself and my own instinct. um I think that yeah, just like training as much as you can and getting in touch with your own gut instinct. I think that like luck is something that is really, I think, unfortunately big in this industry. Like a lot of stuff is because people are lucky. I think luck also on in the same breath, luck is preparation meeting opportunity. So you have to be prepared for the opportunity to come by. So you just have to keep training and keep on top of your craft. For when the opportunity does come, you're prepared. It's kind of like I remember somebody saying it, like the bus of opportunity will come by every so often, and if you have the fare to get on, then you're doing good. But you have to make sure that you're ready for to get on the bus if the bus comes by. Um, and so I think just yeah, staying on your A game and staying and also being just your biggest advocate. Like it's you get a lot of rejection in this industry, um just being so your biggest fan and never an unwavering lack of confidence in yourself and in that this is what you're meant to do. I think is really important.
There you go. I tell you what, if I ever become an actor, I'll be mentioning you in my thank you speech at something.
At the Oscars.
Who knows? That would be great. I would say
Yeah,
like it would have been possible without Corey. So thank you.
I'll be front row. I'll be like, woo! I'll have a big card. Go
There
Dan.
you And all right, and now that you mentioned the whole like rejection part, I mean nobody likes being rejected, right? So how you handle that, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Um, it's it is really like a process of developing thick skin when you're in this industry. Like you have to you have to have thick skin about you, and you have to just let rejection kind of roll off your back and push forward and you're going to get a lot of notes. Like out of 50 auditions, you might get one yes, or however many 100 auditions. And it's just really, yeah, like I said, keeping on the path. You kind of have to put up like blinders and just focus on your intention, your goal, and not letting anything else like penetrate that or take you down or uh you know sidetrack you from that. It's just, yeah, yeah, being very confident in yourself. It's
Yeah.
a lot of self-love.
I mean, at the end, it's not personal, right? I mean, it wasn't just meant to be, you know?
That's right. Yeah. And there's a saying, what uh what what is meant to be won't pass me by, or something like that. So
Mm.
it's really like, if you audition for something and you don't get it, then it just wasn't meant to be. And a lot of the times you hear stories about other famous actors. I can't remember what it was, but Phoebe from Friends, I can't remember what show she auditioned for. She auditioned for something. She was like top choice, and then she didn't get it. And then she had booked Friends. And the truth is, she wouldn't have been able to even audition for Friends, because if she booked this other role, then she couldn't have, those dates wouldn't have been available for her. So I really think that it is better, bigger and better in store for you.
Totally. I mean, that's the way. I mean, as I said here, I mean, it wasn't just meant to be. And I do think that whenever you have like this idea of, you know, keep moving forward and not let yourself drive by those negative thoughts that haunt us every now and then. I think it's the healthier way, and also, you know, it's better. And at the end of the day, I mean, if you try to force things, they're gonna end up looking horrible to it, you know, and might not even work at at the end too. So it's better to just be like, you know what, it wasn't meant to be at this point. Maybe one day will be, and that's just
Yeah.
the way it is, you know.
Totally. Yeah, it's like a much better mindset than harping on it and, you know, kicking yourself because you could have done something different, or you could have worn something different, or said something different. It's, yeah, it's a never ending game of just beating yourself up.
Totally, and I do think that is one of the things that perhaps people who are not, actors might not feel about the whole thing, that it takes that you hope that you will be sometimes auditioning 60, 70, 80 times, and perhaps you will get one, you know what I mean, out of those.
That's
But
it.
as
Yeah.
I said here, I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I do kind of have that experience whenever I want to invite people on my show, for example. I will end
Yeah.
up sending, I don't know, like 100, 200 messages, and sometimes I will receive one or sometimes none.
Yeah.
And when I started, it really beat me. I was like, why? You know what I mean? But then as you go along, you're like, you know what? It's just not the right moment yet. Maybe one day
That's
will
right.
be, maybe not, but that's just the way it is. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Let's be healthy.
And
Let's be
you're,
positive.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And let's watch some murder mysteries too.
Stay positive and watch Murder Mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Epic. And tell me, if you weren't an actor, what career path do you think that you would have pursued?
Oh, I love this question. Um, it's actually something that I already do currently. So I learned very quickly that acting is, it comes and goes in peaks and valleys. So I thought, what else do I love that I want to focus my time and energy on when I'm not on set? And for myself, it's some of my passions are animals. I really love animals and being a voice for them. And I really love traveling. So I make documentaries about animals, and I kind of want to, that's my goal, is to make documentaries that give animals a voice and kind of encourage us on like how we can treat them better and our planet better. So I'm currently doing those types of documentaries. But I think that if I wasn't acting, then I would probably just be all in on that.
Hmm. I like it. Do you have any dogs, cats?
You know what? My apartment isn't pet friendly, so
Uh,
unfortunately,
dang it.
I know, I know. I would sneak one in if I could. Um, but I grew up with animals my whole life. I yeah, lived out in the countryside and had lots of dogs and cats and lots of animals. I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah, I like it. So who knows? Maybe at some point you will also have your own Nat Geo documentary of taking care of animals and all of that.
I would love that. That's like a dream.
Yeah, I do hope that one day I could. I saw this guy once on YouTube that he has this huge but incredibly huge shelter for dogs, and I was
Oh,
like, oh, that would be paradise to me. To have like this huge area in which I can have multiple hundreds of dogs just running around, and that's heaven.
I would, that would be the heaven. There's like an island. I don't know where it is, but it's like stray dogs are just on this island. And anyways, I would just love that. It would be
For sure.
insane.
Yeah, I like it. And you know what? My last question. So we can all enjoy and relax after a couple of amazing questions here and there. Here it is. What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Ooh. Um, what is the best title? Contained chaos or something. um, what do you think?
We could, something like acting chaos and dogs.
Acting's what?
Acting chaos and dogs.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Simple. We spoke about acting, we spoke about chaos, and we spoke about dogs. Acting chaos and dogs.
Yeah. I love it. Sums up everything.
There you go. We have a title. And I mean, at the end, what can I say? The fact that you're pursuing it, you're making it happen, you're actually showing up. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we all know that it takes that it sometimes can be a pain in the butt sometimes every now and then, because actually build something from scratch and to actually make it work and to actually make it happen. I mean, we all know it takes time, but you are making it happen. You are showing up. I mean, I'm super sure that our next conversation will be about the multiple thousand projects you've been here and there, because I mean, it's inevitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I also want to thank those who stayed this whole time. Let me know. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below about this whole conversation. And also on the description below, because we found out why Corey is super badass. Let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Corey. And again, Corey, thank you so much for making this happen. Keep rocking out there. Keep shining. Keep being super badass. And I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thanks everyone for tuning in.